Men of Reddit, what is the hardest thing to explain to a woman? Why is it hard? And why is it not getting hard? Why I don't know what the fuck my best friend is up to in life even after hanging out with him all day. I chat with my friend for an hour on the phone. We talk about video games, sports, etc. He's been my friend from high school and we were best men in each other's weddings. So, after the call, my wife says, "What's going on with his family?" I don't know. You didn't talk about his family? Look, I'm sure they're fine. If they weren't, he would have told me. Me on the phone with my best friend for an hour. My wife, how's he doing? Me fine. My wife, I thought he was sick last month and got laid off from his old job. But I heard he was doing better and found a new job. Me, yeah, so he's fine. Bro, when I'm on the phone with my friends, we don't even greet. Where? House. Come. Okay. End. Just because I don't have tears running down my face doesn't mean I'm not as sad as you. This hit me deep. Sometimes men seem so emotionally tuned out, or have such a good poker face so I can't tell. Makes me sad to think all the times it looked as though someone didn't care that maybe they were really sad too. So true. Lost my job yesterday from COVID. I loved the job and most of the crew. My girlfriend was crying asking why she's more upset than me. I just don't like crying unless I'm truly as sad as I could be. At that time I was just accepting the reality and thinking of what to do next. I was still extremely sad. I don't always want to be the one that initiates sex. It makes me feel like a creep. Just said this to my wife and she said, "Well, stop initiating it then." It doesn't necessarily make me feel like a creep, but it makes me think the girl doesn't actually want sex most of the time. When a girl does ask for sex or initiates it in her own way, it makes it so much more fun for me and takes out a lot of the anxiety and stress that sometimes surrounds sex in a relationship, because it really does feel like a two-sided give and receive situation. Why I'm hard? No, I'm not horny. I wasn't thinking of anything. I was reading about the fall of the Roman Empire, okay? It just does that. Hints don't work. Just tell us what's up. I'm a girl once said to a guy, "I really like you," and he said thanks. 10 minutes later he looks over and goes, "Wait, you meant like?" I'm not angry. I just don't have anything to say. Just want to be left alone so I can deal with my shit without hurting you cause I'm in a bad mood. It's hard to say it in that moment, but the best would be to say, "I am in a mood but I want to sort it out myself for now. I will ask for help if I need it, and I promise this mood is only temporary." For good measure, also add, "The reason for my mood is not caused by you. You've done nothing wrong. I love you." I was at home when my wife and her friends got home one day from the pub. They were all giving me funny looks and smirking. I asked what was going on. They at first refused to tell me. After a little while of prodding, one of them goes, "I heard all about your dick," and they all broke into laughter. I was a little taken by surprise but laughed and said something like, "Oh yeah? Hopefully all good," and they laughed, and that was the end of it. After they left, I was like, "What the hell did you tell them?" And my wife responded by saying how she told her friends about our vigorous romps on our honeymoon in Mexico, apparently in great detail. We were there for a week and probably had sex about 3 times a day. We were both pretty sore when we got home. We had an all-inclusive, so we ended up getting day drunk and got pretty physical with each other, as you do on a honeymoon. She was like, "Whatever, you probably tell your friends all about us when it's just the boys. I don't know about you guys, but the extent of what I ever say is usually a raised eyebrow and something like, 'Ah yeah boy.' I have never once described my wife's body to a single one of my friends. Nothing in detail about any of my sexual partners, from before my wife, and it blew her mind. Apparently girls talk in great detail about it, guys usually don't. And they assume we do, and we assume they don't. If we say we're doing nothing, nothing is not a void to be filled. Nothing is the activity, and we love it. Do you have anything going on this weekend? I have nothing planned. Great! We should dash. Let me clarify. I plan to do nothing. Nailed it. I may alternate doing nothing with the following activities. video game, reading, cooking, eating, sleeping, but my intent is to do that by myself without hearing another voice spoken. When I talk about my feelings, I want to be heard, understood, and something to change. When we fight about my feelings, it only makes me repress those feelings. Bro, my mom does this to me all the time when I want to complain about something or vent about my life. When I was your age, I went through all the same stuff. Well, if you had have done this instead, that wouldn't have happened. It's like everything I think and feel is invalid because other people have been through it, or I could have made other decisions. Sweet lady who loves me to death, but I normally just end the conversation when she does this. The fact that we can ride in a car with another man for 5 hours and not say a word drives my wife crazy. I drove 400 miles with my father to go see my sister, and most of our conversation topics were about when we will stop and eat something and how good our meals were. And there's nothing wrong with that, at all. It is entirely possible to listen to everything you say, understand it all, and still forget it 5 minutes later, especially when under pressure. We're not afraid of marriage. We're afraid of divorce. Similarly, I'm not afraid of getting into a relationship. I'm not even afraid of asking someone out and getting rejected. I am afraid of being in the relationship for a long time and getting invested and then getting dumped. 5 years single since my first and last relationship went poorly. And it doesn't look like I'll be ready for another relationship anytime soon in the next few years. For me, my feelings. I find it extremely difficult to convey things going on in my head. My emotions. It can't just be me who finds it so hard to express my feelings or emotions. That nothing is a perfectly legitimate answer to, "What are you thinking?" and "What are you doing?" and "What do you want to do on your day off?" My girlfriend sits there and will loudly sigh, grumble, and groan until I ask her what's wrong or what's on her mind. She responds with, "Nothing." "Yeah, bullshit. You just made a bunch of noise to get me to ask. Now tell me." One time my ex-wife pulled this shit. So I replied with a clap and, "That's great, and I'm glad we had that talk." Then I started to walk away. She was pissed and an argument followed, but it was so worth it. I usually respond with, "Well, I'm here when you're ready to talk about it," and walk off. You're direct and clear. Hints are not so direct any of the time. When you say, "Does this outfit look okay?" and we say, "Yes, you look stunning," and you reply, "Well, you would say that." Half my brain thinks, "Please believe me because you do look stunning," and the other half thinks, "What a fact did you ask me for if you aren't going to believe me?" That just because I'm quiet in your presence doesn't mean I'm upset. Just means I'm either tired, don't have anything to say, or I'm thinking about something. Why I have peed in my backyard surprisingly high, her words, number of times. I have to constantly explain to my wife why my 2-year-old son is obsessed with his penis. I have to explain why he always wants to touch it and grab it when his diaper is off. She will never understand why our baby and his father share this habit. It might help if she knew this is normal for some babies. Even girls can get obsessed with touching their vagina, vulva. It's body exploration and is completely natural. All they know is it's part of their body. As they get older, we just teach them it's something that they do in private and in their room. But man, do they go after those things. I am sorry she is having trouble understanding. Just because I'm interested in you, doesn't mean I only want your body. The "men only want" thing bugs me. I think I want the most is love and affection unconditionally. Allow me to project for a moment. Conditional love is better. Means both parties are expected to put in the work to get the output they desire. Unconditional love is how you end up with long-term abusive relationships, enabling and being one of the spouses from the show Hoarders. Compromise is a two-way street. If you want those pink pastel bedsheets and pink pastel walls, I'm getting the Star Wars lamp. What it's like peeing with a boner. The hardest thing I ever had to explain is that, if you act distant, I am going to try help resolve whatever is causing that. Telling me nothing is wrong and then starting a fight when I am trying to cuddle and sleep is the wrong time to try and resolve that conflict. Especially when it is something that shouldn't reflect our relationship. When we say we don't care, we really don't care. Yes, we can have an opinion on something. But when we say we don't care, that means our opinion isn't strong enough to sway us either way on something. Most of us don't get complimented, so if you do give us one, we'll remember it forever. This is also why we're often so bad at taking them. It's not something we're used to. One time after getting a haircut and wearing a rather nice new outfit, I was shopping at Target. The 5-foot-tall middle-aged Hispanic checker smiled and said, "You look like a model." I blushed and stuttered out a thank you. This was like 5 years ago. For reference, I do not know or have I ever looked like a model. Men, what is the hardest thing to explain to a woman? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.